Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another recording of This Needs to Be Said. I am your host, CJ Jones, and this is Elephant Exposed. Um, Thank you for joining me. Uh, Today is a offset day of one of for one of my recordings, just simply because there was so much information to share and talk about that came across my desk just the other day, and I had initially had a plan to talk about the First Amendment, but then I ended up talking about um, sagging and how this trend um, has turned into something else, and how it's only through my observation and everything, how I feel like that's a injustice to uh, black young black men, and not only just saying young black men specifically, but young black men in general, meaning that um, even whenever I would see older men um, sag their pants and different things like that, it would just bother me to like no end. But today is a little different as well because just a day ago, if you had been following um, the federal prosecution of hate crime towards the same three individuals that killed Ahmaud Arbrey, you would see that they had been found guilty. Um, and for all their accounts and everything, it did not take them very long to get um, convicted. The prosecution presented their case evidently. It was airtight. It was not a lot of cross examinations going on, different things like that. So I have three short videos to show you, and then the fourth one includes Ahmaud Arbery's mother uh, bringing it home. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and go to my share screen and pull these up for you guys so we can get this thing going. So just bear with me. It's been a little while since I've worked um, this particular platform, so I'm not as quick with this. Okay, so here we go. This is the first one, and like I said, after this, I may or may not have something to say. These are not my videos. These are just recordings and the highlights that I got off YouTube, because evidently this was a very popular case, but in my opinion, it shouldn't have been. It should have been a lot more, but I'll talk about that when we in between the videos here. But anyway, at any rate, here's the first.
As more evidence comes out in the federal hate crimes trial for these three white men who killed Ahmaud Arbery. This is all new evidence. We did not see any of this in the state trial. 11 Alive's Hope Ford walks us through the racist text messages and social media posts that have now come to light as prosecutors fight to prove this trio killed Arbery because he was black. We do want to warn you, these details are very disturbing.
A jury hearing for the first time from an FBI analyst as they decide whether or not the three men convicted of murdering Ahmaud Arbery did so because he was black. Texts and posts presented by the analyst show an open contempt for black people. Travis McMichael allegedly responding to a video of a black man pulling a prank on a white man with, "I'd kill that In a reply to a Facebook video showing black teenagers, McMichael reportedly wrote, "Shoot all of them, those monkeys." The FBI testifying Travis McMichael referred to black people as animals, monkeys, and subhuman savages. Defendant William Roddy Bryant reportedly sending a text to a friend about his daughter's relationship with a black man. She has her now. Bryant also reportedly calling an MLK Day parade the Monkey Parade. Arbery's father, Mark, is visibly upset after hearing the latest testimony.
Man, that's a sickness. That is a sickness, and that Travis McMichael, he was a very racial hateful man.
Travis McMichael's attorney arguing the post required additional context, while Brian's attorney specifically says his client was not obsessed with race and never wanted any harm for Arbery, only following the McMichaels to film what was happening. Arbery's family not buying the defense's words.
This ain't something that just started with them being hateful. It go way back.
The trial continues on Thursday in Brunswick and is expected to last 7 to 10 days. I'm Hope Ford for 11 Alive News.
And the trial will resume this morning. We are following all of the details every day for you. Go to 11alive.com for real-time updates when we are not on the air.
So as we can see here, very, very short coverage. Maybe it had maybe a couple hundred views. There was a lot of microphones there, as you can see. There was a lot of mainstream stream media there. But whenever I looked at this on YouTube, and of course you can see the views, the likes, the comments, and different things like that. The thing that bothered me the most about this and about the other videos I'm going to be sharing is that something like this should have broke the internet. It should have been on everyone's platform. The Fox News, the MSNBCs, the all in between, the local. I mean, this just as much attention as it first started out when the case first went to trial. This should have just as much coverage, in my opinion. But as we can see, that was not the case. So anyway, here's the second one.
The men charged with murdering Ahmaud Arbrey used racial slurs repeatedly in text messages and Facebook posts. Some of the slurs were said days before Arbrey was killed. The evidence was presented in court today in the federal hate crimes trial. News 4 Jax reporter Marilyn Parker is joining us live. And Marilyn, we didn't hear.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to play that one more time.
The men charged with murdering Ahmaud Arbrey used racial slurs repeatedly in text messages and Facebook posts. Some of the slurs were said days before Arbrey was killed. The evidence was presented in court today in the federal hate crimes trial. News 4 Jax reporter Marilyn Parker is joining us live. And Marilyn, we didn't hear much cross-examination from the defense today.
Well, the defense attorney for Travis McMichael said that some of those examples needed more context, and those examples were uncomfortable and hard to hear for some. The judge reminded the jurors to use those examples as evidence and not to judge the defendants for being bad people, but instead to consider if the prosecution is using those examples to prove their racial mindset. Ahmaud Arbrey wasn't the only person recorded on private property. Prosecutors showed how Travis McMichael has a history of it by showing a picture of him hunting next to a no trespassing sign and a video of him knocking over a no trespassing sign.
I'm just glad the world sees it.
Marcus Arbery says it was hard hearing testimonies Wednesday, but says he's not surprised. The state called FBI agent Amy Vaughn, who went through text messages and social media posts from the defendants. Someone posted about their surfboard being stolen and later recovered. Gregory McMichael commented on the post saying, "Maybe I'll catch the expletive in Georgia. We still hang horse and blank up here." Travis McMichael shared a video of a young black boy dancing on Ellen with a song in the background titled Alabama N-Word. On January 1st, 2020, the day Travis had a gun stolen from him, his good friend Derek Thomas sent him a video of a black man lighting a firecracker in his nose. Travis responded saying, "Been cooler if it blew that expletive N-word head off." During testimony, Thomas agreed with defense attorneys when they said he loves Travis, just didn't like the words he used. Travis also commented on a video of a group of black teenagers beating up a white person. He said, "I say shoot all of them, expletive, those expletive monkeys."
Poor Ahmaud, he had no clue what he was running into.
The testimony included a history of William Roddy Bryan using racial slurs and text messages on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, like "I'm still working so all the N-words can take off." Having a monkey parade on Gloucester Street. 3 days before the shooting, he said, "I worked like an N-word today."
The whole series of emails from Roddy Bryan, who we were told was the innocent guy in this case.
The day after the shooting, Bryan messaged someone saying he had a really eventful day around here. He also frequently uses racial slurs when referring to the black man his daughter was dating, saying he'd fit right in with the monkeys.
I knew it.
Now, in all of that, one portion of the cross-examination that we heard from Travis McMichael's defense attorney was that more context was needed and that you could not hear the inflection or tone of voice that was used in those messages. We heard from the Arbrey family and some of their supporters not too long ago. They basically said that if anything, the plot thickens following everything that we learned from today. They said that this is one of the reasons the family did not want that plea deal, so that everyone could see what would come out from these investigations with the FBI. We also heard from Larry English's on his recorded deposition that lasted for about 3 hours and 40 minutes today. The judge even had the jurors and everyone in the courtroom stand up and take a bit of a break. Court picks back up tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We're live at the federal courthouse in Brunswick. Marilyn Parker, Channel 4, the local station.
So what can you say? I mean, are we really surprised about what these three convicted men, these three convicted murderers had in their heart? No, we are not surprised. The elephant in the room when it comes to these killers is the simple fact that this has been going on, just like the lady in red said, from the Arbrey family. This has been going on since way before my time, my mother's time, and her mother's time, and so forth. We're talking since, slavery was established from the beginning, from the get-go of the United States of America. It is one of the cornerstones in which this whole entire country began. It began on the backs of enslaved people. And with that, human relations happen. And because human relations happen, whether it was forced or enticed or whatever the case may be, because my mind goes like, I start to like really view things like truly like abroad. Because right now my mind is going to even after a while of being held by your captors, you will start to go through a phase to where you actually will start to sympathize and empathize with the very people that are holding you captive. And I can see a part of that culturally kind of playing out here. So whether it was enticed, forced, coerced, or whatever the case may be, the thing about it is that this is undeniable This is an undeniable fact. There's no conspiracy about this. This is, well, how do you really know if they are? Because we're only hearing one side of this. Let them speak and all these other things. Well, we have heard them speak. We have heard them express themselves. And being that this is my show, I can say that through my own life experiences, I can definitely attest of the feeling that I felt even whenever I heard these guys go up to the stand and, you know, try to plead their case and everything. And of course, they're going to try to paint the picture of, oh, I don't hate nobody and all stuff, and especially the Roddy guy. I knew it, and I'm not trying to sound like what we kind of comically refer to as like the split second prophet, in the sense of you seeing something that's obviously happening, then you hurry up and jump in. You want to try to take the credit for something that you saw going on. I truly knew that it was something deeper to I want to say his name was Roddy Williams. Is Roddy Williams, not was, but is Roddy Williams. Not too many people that's gonna observe something happening and just feel motivated to help capture and torment and kill someone just off the sake of it. What was your real motivation? Now we see it. What was his motivation? His own daughter. And that's where it comes from, really. His own daughter. It is, or whatever, I don't know the current situation, but he come to find out that his white daughter was or is dating a black man, black people, whatever the case may be. But the thing about it is that it's a preference. And it's not an unlawful preference. It's not an inhumane preference. It's not that she's have some type of sick fetish going on with the animals or something like that. She's dating a human being. Yes, it may not be, or he may not be the preferred race or creed that obviously her family supports, or specifically, let's just keep it to him, that he prefers. Okay, there's a lot of people, because I have children that are in dating age, and there's a lot of type of people that I would not want to see them date. But it doesn't cause hatred in my heart so much to where I feel like I have to go seek them out and assist in their lynching. I just simply don't like it. But guess what? It's their life. They're gonna date whoever they want to date. And I just, you know, by me being a parent, you know, and not all the time lining up with my children's choices, you just be there for them. And that's all you can do. Because you can't make them do anything. You can't make anyone do anything. It's just that people are dealing with the repercussions of their decisions, period. Let's go ahead and get to the other video, the third video, and then we'll hear what Mom had to say. Here's the third one.
News4JAX team is looking into what life will be like for the three men convicted of murdering Ahmaud Arbrey and now convicted of federal hate crimes. Viewers have been asking us, will they serve their prison sentence in a state or a federal prison? And will they be awarded special protection behind bars because of this highly publicized murder? We took these questions to a defense attorney who has no relation to this case.
If I'm their lawyers, I'd certainly ask for some level of segregation, some protection maybe a different prison facility, a different unit in that facility, because obviously, it's a prison sentence, but they shouldn't lose their life over it.
Defense attorney Curtis Fallgatter, who's not associated with the case, says the days ahead for Travis and Greg McMichael and William Bryan in prison will undoubtedly be difficult, pointing out that the state prison system population consists of majority minorities, many who may take offense to the racist statements federal prosecutors say the three men made online and in person.
So those men will be in a prison environment where they could be exposed to folks that are not at all appreciative of having someone, a fellow inmate, who is such a racist and making such ugly comments.
Fallgatter expects the three men to serve their life sentences for murder in a Georgia state prison. The McMichaels do not have the possibility of parole, but William Bryan is eligible after 30 years. Keep in mind he's already 52 years old. If he qualifies for parole, he could serve the remainder of his federal sentence in a federal prison, a decision that would ultimately be made by the judge. Fallgatter says a life sentence for the murder of Ahmaud Arbrey and conviction on hate crimes charges ensures the three men will likely never get out of prison if the case is overturned by appeal. He anticipates the federal judge will hand down an extremely harsh punishment.
And I'm going to guess that she's going to want to send a deterrent message that, folks, you can't run around, chase down black men because you don't like a black man and harm him. That's the whole purpose of the hate crime. Let's put a stop to that type of hatred in America.
Fallgatter says the federal prison system has better amenities, better food, while some Georgia state prisons don't even have air conditioning, he says, which is why the three men wanted to cut a plea deal with the district attorney's office before the federal hate crimes trial. Federal sentencing hearing for the three men, that has not yet been scheduled.
All right, we're just going to keep it moving, guys. Oh, there's some things that I can say about that, but let's just get on through it, and then I'll hold my comment after we hear about what Mama had to say.
We got a victory today, but it's so many families out there who don't get victories because of people that we have fighting for us.
A bookend today to what's been a long road for the family of Ahmaud Arbrey. First, fighting for someone to be arrested and charged in his death, and then seeing convictions on the state level late last year. And now today, convictions on the federal level for hate crimes, almost 2 years to the day after Arbrey was murdered. We have team coverage of the family's emotional victory in court today. We start with Hope Ford live in Brunswick. And Hope, you were inside the courthouse as the verdict was read this morning.
Yeah, that's right. And this trial went by fast. Less than a week for the actual trial and then less than 4 hours for the jury deliberations. But when that verdict was reached and when it was read to the courtroom, the defendants barely had any reaction and never looked into the direction of the Arbrey family, who was sitting front row behind the
they already
prosecution.
knew.
Now, the only black male juror was selected as the foreperson, and he cried several times after the verdict was read. Our legal analyst, Paige Apate, says that was likely intentional to appoint him foreperson to send a message. Now, the judge in this case acknowledged in her final statements how difficult this case was, telling prosecutors they had their hands full trying to prove a racial arc in a hate crime trial. And she told the defense they represented their clients well, and no one should wonder if the defendants received a fair trial or if their attorney was skillful. Now, Paige Apate says the fact that the jury reached their guilty verdict so quickly shows the prosecution presented the right things with the right explanations.
Hate crimes charges are traditionally difficult because you have to show more than just hate. You have to show more than racial prejudice. You have to show that was the motivating factor for the crime. But here, I think the evidence of prejudice was so strong and the circumstances of this offense so clear that the jury didn't have a problem with it at all.
Now, the defendants now have 14 days to file any post-trial motions, and once they are sentenced, they will have 14 days to file any appeals, and the sentence will be handled by the federal judge. Meanwhile, a march will be held here tomorrow in Brunswick for Ahmaud on the anniversary of his death.
A number of people planning to walk and run in his honor as well tomorrow. Hope, thank you.
Okay, so there we have it. Um, guys, this is why this platform exists. And more specifically, Elephant Exposed exists under This Needs to Be Said. Because this is exactly what needs to be not only said, exposed for what it is. Guys, this is life. This is life in America. All the glitz and the glamour, all the fantasy of what the American dream is. All of that is nice commercials for those of us who are not Black or not perceived as being Black. But for those of us that are Black, for those of us who are non-white looking, there is a different kind of America. And in this different kind of America, now thanks to the help of this little thing right here called the camera, it has dramatically changed how America in general, overall, looks at itself. Now we're having to go back, since we are in the age of information, going back, and now we're having to rewrite the truths that we've known all along as a culture. You have Fox News and platforms like that trying to attack little catchphrases and, you know, chase little titles here and there, or putting all these kind of red herrings out there to keep you distracted from dealing with the truth. And the truth is, America has always been based on racism, period. The Black man overall, the Black woman, the Black family has never been regarded as anything more than 3/4 of a person, if I'm saying that right. And that's right there in the Constitution. Of course, it's amended now and everything, but it's written so it can't be unwritten. But not even considered to be full persons, which I guess set the stage for us as a people to be treated like we have been mistreated. Then, like I said, you have all these red herrings about, well, what about? We can hypothesize across the board. And in some instances, you won't even be wrong. But let's get down to the real nitty-gritty of it. The real nitty-gritty of it is that regardless to what your preferences are, we're all still human. And that's what this is about. It's about being treated like you yourself would want to be treated. Respectfully and decent. Let's go back and touch on what the attorney that didn't have anything to do with the case said. Any decent attorney would be trying to go for at least comfortable accommodations, because they don't need to die, even though they took someone's life horribly. I have always been on the fence about that. There has always been a rift in my own mind, in my own soul, as to, even though I know in my heart that something that horrific has taken place, would I be for or against having a life for a life? And saying, okay, justified. I'm split because of the simple reason, guys. I was raised as a man of I was raised. I'm a believer of God. I'm a believer of the Bible and what it says. And then I was raised to just treat people like the way that I wanted to be treated. And so therefore it puts me in a very awkward position sometimes, because in my initial thought, and even as being a person of combat, sometimes you have to do what you have to do. But then within the certain guidelines of defending yourself, death could occur. But that's not your whole soul goal. Even in defending yourself, you don't really want to take a life. I don't think most people don't really want to take a life unless there's something off with you. But sometimes as a result of you defending yourself, death can occur. So we can't really just be, all, snaring up at this attorney and giving his a thought and giving his thought as to what the defense attorneys was trying to do. The defense attorneys just flat out did their job, and they put up as many barriers and obstacles as they could, and oh well. But the thing about it now, that they have been found guilty, and just to bring it up to date, they have not yet, or at least it has not came across my highlights yet, if a particular date for their actual sentencing on the federal side of the house has been submitted yet. But here's the thing: whether you dislike the verdict, guys, or not, but let's talk about you feel like that their verdict was not fair. Look at it like this. This jury was made up or comprised of, I want to say it was 8 white or Caucasian, 3 Black, and 1 Hispanic. The defense attorneys had every opportunity to cross-examine and get their thoughts across. But you cannot argue. You can't. And I know even right now to this day that people are still trying to fight the meaning of what is an insurrection, what is a terrorist attack, referring back to January 6th. It was a terrorist attack on our very own yard, or in our very own yard of these United States, period. By definition and by what you saw, regardless as to, well, not everybody went in, and miss me with all of that. I have known for people to be convicted for harsher or with harsher sentences and so forth, and being called a terrorist, and did nobody have a problem with it. You know why? Because they were Black. But now, what seemingly to be because they are majority white, now they want to say, oh, it was just a bad day. Oh, they are just protesters and they just kind of overstep, or whatever the case may be. Stop it. You're not gonna pee on me and call it rain. and just tell me, oh, well, just, that'll just, just go get a towel or something and it'll come right up. No, you about to get your face caved in. That's what's going to happen. That's the repercussion of it. So I say the same thing about these killers being convicted, and now on the federal side for hate crime. I don't care if you put them under the jail. They deserve to be in general public. Why? Because if they were free, where they would be? Out and among everybody else, the general public. So that's my view on that. So you can miss me with, the violin and being like, oh, well, we want to make sure they're safe and everything else. Yeah. But guess what? Ahmaud Arbrey thought that he was safe. So, guys, thank you for tuning in with me. Thank you for watching me. And thank you for the comments, the support, and everything. And as long as there's things like this out here that's going on, I'll be here to talk about it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Man, we just appreciate you guys so much just for being there for us. And we'll just keep it going. In the meanwhile, you guys take care. I'll catch you next time.